Final Smashes are big, powerful, and with plenty of pomp and circumstance to them. A visual and physical declaration that you are stronger and have more followers than the opponent. And they suck. Final Smashes are kind of a funny thing. They feel like a staple to the series, yet they were introduced in the third game, Brawl. Despite that being their debut, though, they've been on the minds of the creators since the first game for the Nintendo 64. Some of you may have missed it or forgotten, but in the Min presentation for Smash Ultimate, Sakurai talked about how he had to get Ryo Horikawa to record lines for the reveal trailer for Captain Falcon, and he mentioned how they hadn't had to record new lines for Falcon's in-game voice since Smash 64. This means that Falcon's voice line for his Final Smash has existed ever since Smash 64, where they were thinking of first incorporating Final Smashes. So while Final Smashes have only been a part of the series since Brawl, it's been considered since the beginning. And it makes sense why. So many fighting games have what you'd call supers, or what have you. Big and powerful finishing attacks. Of course, I'd say Mortal Kombat is most known for these, but you'd be hard pressed to find a fighting game without something like this. Final Smashes though, they're a bit different. A Final Smash doesn't guarantee a KO, and you can even just turn them off. I have very little experience with other fighting games, but still, Final Smashes have always felt really distinct compared to other fighting games' supers. And with this distinction has come a series of changes. Good changes, bad changes, and ugly changes. To start with the good, let's look at where Final Smashes originated from, Brawl. While the competitive aspect of the game can leave a lot to be desired by some, there's no questioning that the casual aspect of the game was insane. Plenty of minigames, an entire story mode, and loads of cool items. The item that stands out the most, of course, is the Final Smash. And it's simple at first glance. A floating ball spawns, and if you hit it enough, whoever hit it last gets the Final Smash. But that's kind of where the simplicity dies out. In Brawl, there is a cast of 35 characters, and out of all 35 of them, I'd say only about 7 or so are similar to another character's Final Smash. Of course it's up to debate, but basically the vast majority of the cast had incredibly unique Final Smashes, in terms of both function and appearance. There were vague subcategories here. Mario, Pokemon Trainer, and Ganondorf all have Final Smashes where you initiate it, and an attack goes out horizontally that lasts a decent while. If you want to dumb it down to just an attack that goes horizontally, you can include Link, Toon Link, and Sheik/Zelda here, as well as I guess Marth, though I find these Final Smashes are a bit more precise. And Samus also has a Final Smash like this, but with its dual purpose of also making you lose your suit, I think it's a bit more unique. Then you have Transformation Final Smashes, or Final Smashes where you change your form to become stronger and move around in a fashion very similar to how you would normally move around. This includes Diddy Kong, Yoshi, Sonic, Bowser, Wario, and Rob. I don't quite include Game & Watch because your movement is way different than normal. And you could make the argument that the Star Fox characters' Final Smashes are also transformation ones, but I like to put them in their own category. And, pedantically, Zero Suit Samus' Final Smash is quite literally a transformation Final Smash, but the functionality is not quite the same. The last category I have is one that I essentially boil down to clicking B when near your opponent. You can also call these cutscene Final Smashes. These go to Meta Knight, Ike, and Captain Falcon. You can make the argument that most Final Smashes technically meet this criteria, but I think it's obvious how these are all the same, especially Captain Falcon and Ike. They all have a starting move when you initiate it, and if someone gets hit by that starting move, then the rest of the attacks automatically come afterwards. Now, I'm not stupid. You could probably make boiled down categories to include the entirety of the cast in just a few areas. But I think these ways here are actually really fair ways to separate them, with only a few debatable points. And everyone left over is sort of here in these unique categories of sorts. And that's the word that highlights why I consider these Final Smashes to be so good. They're unique. There are some repeating points throughout the roster, but generally speaking, the Final Smashes cover a lot of ground in how they function and appear. One Final Smash will have nearby opponents falling asleep, forcing you to find a way to follow up. One will cause opponents and items to go into a cooking pot with relatively low power, forcing you to make use of the new items that spawn in. And, well, 3 of the Final Smash types spawn in an entire machine. Now, nostalgia may very well be blinding me here. This was, of course, my first Smash game, and I was like 9 when I played it. But there is something so special and entertaining about these Final Smashes that just made them really stand out. And then, Smash 4 came out. To no one's real surprise, Final Smashes stayed in the series when making this transition, and its final roster came to a whopping 58 characters, 23 more than Brawl. And ultimately this adds up to about 23 new Final Smash opportunities. But it kind of didn't. We can use the same categories I made for Brawl here. The big horizontal attack category has these characters. Like last time, Final Smashes like Link's, Link's, Zelda, Sheik's, Marth's, and Dark Pit's are technically horizontal big attacks, but their relative precision makes me want to separate the category. Next is that Transformation Final Smash category. This goes to these characters. Again, I don't include Fox or Falco because I think that's a little bit too unique. And I'm also not including Pac-Man for the same reason as Game & Watch before. Your movement is too limited to really function the same as these others. Now, here's the doozy. Cutscene Final Smashes. This includes all of these characters. To repeat, if a Final Smash activates only when it hits a nearby opponent, and then the rest of the Final Smash plays out after that, that's what I consider a cutscene Final Smash. So something like Luigi's, which only takes one button press, doesn't count, because it still goes on in its entirety even if it misses. It's kind of like an obstacle of sorts. Meta Knight's does too, and you can make the argument that it doesn't belong here, but I personally still think it belongs because you're essentially doing the same thing, even if it's functionally a little bit different. So like I said, you can make an argument either way, but it won't change this upcoming point. Oh, and quick tangent, but I'm putting Ryu as both cutscene Final Smash and horizontal Final Smash, since he technically covers both bases. So despite having such a large roster, this leaves very few characters with unique Final Smashes. Still though, there is a good amount of variety, and arguments can be made in some places here or there. But I think the point is very clear. Comparing whole rosters, this game has a lot of the same shtick being rehashed over and over again, whereas Brawl had a lot more unique concepts put in place. But that last doozy I went over, the cutscene Final Smashes, that brings me right to my main point. Smash Ultimate. As of making this video, Min Min is the latest DLC character, so the roster size is currently a whopping 77 characters, not including Echo Fighters. And just to save time, let's list out all of the cutscene Final Smashes in this game. Donkey Kong, Yoshi, Kirby, Fox, Pikachu, Captain Falcon, Sheik, Pichu, Falco, Chrom, Meta Knight, Wario, Ike, King Dedede, Wolf, Villager, Mega Man, Little Mac, Greninja, Robin, Shulk, Duck Hunt, Cloud, Corrin, Ridley, the Belmonts, King Kid, Roy, Isabelle, Incineroar, Joker, Hero, Banjo-Kazooie, Terry, Violet, Min Min, and me, Brawler. That is 36 characters out of 77. Again, not including Echo Fighters. And out of all 13 brand new characters, 11 of them are here. And I can all but guarantee that the coming DLC will also be added to this list. Now you may be saying, well that's not even half the roster. Yeah, sure. But what about those other categories? For horizontal Final Smashes, we have something that looks like this. And yeah, I can go on and on categorizing the rest of the roster, but these are really the only characters that have Final Smashes whose general function isn't echoed by another character. And honestly, I feel like I'm being a little bit generous with some of these. The main reason why there's even really any diversity is because they decided not to change the Final Smashes of, well, some of the past characters. But just about every single recent addition to the game has had a cutscene Final Smash. So what's the deal here? Well, there's this one line Sakurai stated when describing some of the Final Smash changes in this game. I don't know how rough of a translation this is, but he says, in fact, all Final Smashes get right to the punch. Basically, the fact that these Final Smashes are incredibly simple and quick was directly and explicitly intended. Hence why just about every single new character shares this style of Final Smash. And that's all well and good on paper, until you ask yourself, why? What reason could there be to dumb down Final Smashes like this? Perhaps this is to allow Final Smashes more of a place in the competitive environment? The addition of the Final Smash meter in this game seems to completely echo the sentiment of how fighting games have supers and whatnot. And since these are also weaker versions of Final Smashes, you'd think, hey, this is perfect for competitive play now. But in this article translating Sakurai Famitsu Column Volume 561 regarding more information on the Smash Direct, Sakurai says, and I quote, that the addition of the Final Smash allows battles to get even wilder than usual, so it might be better suited to casual play. Again, I'm not really sure if this is a bug in translation or not, but I don't think this much is really up to debate. The fact that Final Smash meter isn't allowed in competitive play isn't just competitive Smash players being stingy, like ignorant casual players like to accuse. Final Smashes are really dumb. Especially with how they are now, you have to realize how powerful they are. They give you intangibility frame 1 usually, some of them require basically 0 skill to activate successfully, and even if the power is lower, that usually doesn't mean much. But wait, if Final Smashes weren't intended to be hopefully added to the competitive scene of Smash, then again, I must ask, why? Why dumb down Final Smashes, making them more streamlined and quick and monotonous, if the environment in which they're meant to be played in is already inherently chaotic? That's what casual Smash always was. Chaotic. Tons of fighters on the screen with tons of items on wacky stages. So what was the reason to even dumb down Final Smashes if everything else is basically just as chaotic? These questions are rhetorical, by the way. There is no reason for Final Smashes to be the same one and done deal. I still hold the opinion that this game as a whole was kind of rushed, but that type of opinion can come off as toxic considering how plentiful the game still is. But regardless, as it stands, Final Smashes were treated dirty for no real reason. Now, some folk may say that Final Smashes are plenty diverse. I mean hell, this cutscene is entirely different from this cutscene. Now, sure, the cutscenes are different, but each cutscene will always be the same as the last time you used that Final Smash. So it only has novelty for the first few times you see it. And yeah, some Final Smashes may stand out a bit, but overall what it boils down to is getting hit by something, and then everyone just waiting for that something to be over. There are no unique mechanics for how to avoid or apply these Final Smashes other than to not be close to the opponent. And in some instances, not even that works. I mean, come on, there's even a Pokemon whose whole shtick is to hit you once and then perform a cutscene of attacks. Final Smashes just feel so meaningless and uninteresting now, compared to when they used to transform you, or spawn in an entire machine, or create a zone in which opponents must avoid, or anything like that. Now, all a Final Smash is just a big attack given more pomp and circumstance than it's worth. Some may argue, hey, that's kind of the whole point of Final Smashes. Sure, fine, I'm willing to concede that maybe this version of Final Smashes is what the developers generally had in mind the whole time. But that doesn't really change the fact that when you compare it to Brawl or even Smash 4, it's just incredibly and unnecessarily dull. If the future DLC that has yet to be released or announced comes with incredibly unique or even somewhat unique Final Smashes, I'll shed a single tear of joy. But as the pattern dictates, it's likely that the rest of the DLC will just have their own cutscene Final Smashes, where you do something to hit an opponent once, then hey, a neat cutscene plays that gets old after 2 times. Of course, anyone who's playing the game casually may not even really sweat these types of details. They'll just see the Final Smash as a powerful move and leave it at that. That's totally fair. I just figured that maybe this other perspective might resonate with some of you, especially for those of you who played Brawl or even Smash 4 before Ultimate. Regardless of what you believe in, Zelda's Final Smash is still the stupidest thing in the game and I can't comprehend how broken it is. Stay casual.